So my parable is from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, page 854, if you have the Gospel with you. And it goes like this. Some thieves came to a field. A straw figure resembling a man had been put there to frighten the intruders. The thieves were scared by the figure and could not persuade themselves to enter the field. One of them, however, approached and found that it was only a figure made of straw. He came back to his companions and said, "There is nothing to be afraid of." But still they refused to go. They said that their hearts were beating fast. Then the daring thief laid the figure on the ground and said, "It is nothing, it is nothing." This is the process of neti. So here are my thoughts. At first blush, it seems very easy to analyze this parable. And there is a very simple takeaway here, which is don't be ruled by fear. Take the time to see what is real and what is not. Who the people are in the story is of little consequence. What is important is the role that they are playing and the way that they play it. So perhaps the old adage, don't judge a book by a cover, applies here as another lesson. If we're judging, we most likely won't gain much in the way of analyzing and learning. In other words, let's not get stuck on the fact that they're thieves. It seems silly that a straw figure can make anyone tremble, but we all have straw figures. Something that frightens, upsets, and blinds one may seem like nothing to another, and so on. What does it take to see a deep samskara for what it is? A straw figure that poses no danger. My next thought was that we live in a world of duality. Negative and positive literally define one another. We cannot know day until we see night. I've often heard that we should turn our heads from negative and seek only to look at the positive. But I wonder if we're not turning away from balance and refusing to see a good portion of what life is really all about. We as individuals are always the dictionary of our world. We decide what is good and what is bad and what we like and what we don't like. I heard a discourse not too long ago concerning neti and iti, and someone was saying, we really should do iti because neti is negative. And I couldn't help thinking, in my case at least, neti comes up in my life. I was speaking to Swami Sarvadevananda one day and something had come up for me and I said, "What is that?" And he said, "It's a samskara, let it go." I was a little bit disappointed because I was ready for a big discussion on what had come to me. But I realized that I'd been blinded by it because it was like someone hit me in the face with a fish. I just couldn't see it. And Swami said, simply let it go, neti. And so hopefully I did that. In thinking further about this, I realized that neti and iti seem to be two sides of the same coin. I'm looking at the Swamis to make sure I know a little bit of what I'm talking about. I could be all wet. So I think those processes probably go hand in hand. So now in the instance of this parable, if we let go of our judgment of positive and negative being bad or good, everything around us now has the opportunity to just define itself to us in a clean way. So now the thieves are not bad, they're just people, and the straw figure is not bad, it's just a straw figure. And we can look at the story again. The people in the story are terrified by something that cannot harm them in any way. They are so frightened that their hearts are beating. They are so frightened that when one of them dares to challenge his fear, the others immediately respond against a proven truth. He's proven there's no danger. They will not accept that. One of them now knows the truth, neti neti. Not that, not that. The others are still stuck in their fear. This is how powerful the mind is. Neti neti is the process of eliminating that which is not real, one layer at a time. Neti neti seems very smart to me. It reveals the truth a bit at a time, and every layer that is peeled away makes us smarter and more joyful. When we can grab on to just the smallest thread of our eternal selves, neti neti becomes clearer. The eternal self cannot be anything but pure God consciousness, eternal bliss. Everything else is false. So we can say with impunity, I am not that. Through neti neti, the process of peeling away all falsehoods, all that will be left is eternal bliss and eternal peace. This beautiful parable reminds us that we must never relent. We must be mindful every second that we can possibly be. For if we are not, by our own minds, we will be systematically weakened by deception and by fear. We must keep laying it at the feet of the Lord. Neti neti. Not that, not that. In the end, the question I had to ask myself, in being truthful with myself, how many straw figures do I have standing between me and realization? And of course, that question made me realize how much work I have to do. But more importantly, how very grateful I am to have found the path that Sri Ramakrishna forged for us through Vedanta and through a lineage of holy men and women whose only intent is to guide us towards the ultimate truth and the realization of Brahman.